So, here we are then. We have finished the 101 and AGFA Blu Ray collection. And when I started doing these, I didn't realise that they had finished making these Blu-rays. I thought it was still going. So I thought it had turned into like a Shameless sort of deal, where I do the ones that are out, and then when it gets to a point, I just do them as they get released. But as far as I can see, the partnership between 101 and AGFA is done, and this is all we're getting over here. Which, honestly, I'm a little disappointed about. I wish there was a few more of these. So, what we'll do in this little episode is we're just going to sort of sum everything up. I'll chat a little bit about my thoughts on the collection, I'll do a little ranking, best to worst, and we'll talk about what's coming up next and things like that. Yeah, it's just going to be a sort of final thoughts on the whole thing. It's definitely been a bit of an odd collection to look at, this one. So I picked up 3 of them in a sale. I think it was must have been like 3 for 15 or something like that in HMV. It was Drug Stories, Wicked World and Scary Tales. And I sat down and watched Scary Tales and I thought, you know what, this is interesting. And I saw that Wicked World had something to do with the guy who was in Things. And I was like, you know what, I think this series might be something that I want to discuss more on YouTube. And yeah, it just sort of snowballed from there. I tried to grab as many as I could in various sales, and here we are. Obviously as well, I started these ages ago. I started doing the AGFA 101 reviews before I was doing the hardcore reviews. But what ended up happening was I realised that with these AGFA 101 Blu-rays, that there was 2 features on each disc. I had no idea when I was buying them. I thought it was just like a 1 or 2 time deal. But pretty much every Blu-ray had 2 features and a bunch of shorts on it or something. So what ended up happening was that I had to try and cram in 2 features, a bunch of shorts, write the thing, record the thing, edit the thing, and get it all out in like a week, whilst also doing life stuff around that. And the hardcore collection came along, and that was like 1 film and done. So that seemed a little more doable for a weekly thing. So AGFA sort of fell to the sidelines a little bit. I brought it back every once in a while, but hardcore ended up being the focus. And there were a few points where I was wondering if I was even going to go back to the AGFA 101 stuff. But you know what? I'm glad I did. I'm really glad I did, because there's a lot here, especially in the last half, that I really ended up liking. I thought it was mostly going to be horror for some reason as well. I had no idea that there was going to be so many action films in this. But weirdly enough, the action films have ended up being some of my favourites, I think. They're the ones that have stuck with me the most, anyway. And I'm not really an action guy, honestly. But they're just fun. A lot of them are really fun. I'd say there's more good than bad in this collection. I enjoyed more of the films than I didn't. I think a lot of them could be seen as bad, just in general, because of the nature of how they were made and what they are and such. But I don't know, I'd say bad and good is based off of whether I'm having fun with it or not. And a lot of these I was having a lot of fun with. A lot of them sort of encapsulate what I love the most about zero budget filmmaking and low budget and, you know, indie films. And it's that DIY nature. It's getting together who you can with the resources you can and making what you can with what you've got. Despite what you've got, I guess, in some instances. And I love that. I love that. Because they're so charming. And it's interesting seeing how people have done little workarounds and what people think is passable and things like that. And as I've said it a lot of times throughout this series, it's hard to make a film and it's super impressive that a lot of these films did get made, and now they're on Blu Ray, and I've paid money for them. So that's something, isn't it? A lot of films get made and they just disappear, they just vanish. They put on YouTube and nobody watches them. So it's cool. And a lot of these, if anything, a lot of these put a smile on my face. I think that says a lot, really. So I think at this point now, it's probably time to do some rankings. So we're going to start with the worst and work our way up to the best. So what I've done with these, as well, little preface for this, is that I've incorporated everything that's on the disc into these rankings and ratings and such. So it's not just the main feature that I'm talking about here, it's everything on the disc. So if the first feature was good and the second feature was absolutely abysmal, it's going to get knocked down a couple marks. Or if the first feature was abysmal and the second feature was a little bit better, it might go up a little bit. So it's the whole release as a package, I guess. So let's crack on, shall we? Okay, starting in last place, we have She-Freak, Lady Street Fighter, Jungle Trap, The Curious Case of Dr. Hump, The Zodiac Killer, God Monster of Indian Flats, Smut Without Smut Volume 1, Scary Movie, Scary Tales, Sometimes Aunt Martha Does Dreadful Things, Effects, The AGFA Horror Trailer Show, Drug Stories Volume 1, The McPherson Tape, The Sword and the Claw, The Treasure of the Ninja, Wicked World, and in first place, it's got to be Wakaliwood Super Action Volume 1. The Wakaliwood collection was always going to be number one, really, wasn't it? It's everything that I was wanting from these discs. It's charming, it's fun, it's funny, it's movie night fodder is what I have been looking for with these. It's something that you watch and you're smiling or your mouth's agape and you're like, I need to show people this, and that's what I'm looking for with these. And yeah, the fact that the Wakaliwood Super Action, both features are A features in my opinion, and you get countless special features on there as well. It's just such a great package and well worth grabbing for anyone who's in the market. Wicked World is a very close second. I've already gone out of my way to show people that film after doing the review of it. And that's going to become a bit of a staple for movie nights because it's just so baffling. And I think it depends on what mood you get me in, honestly, whether it's the Wicked World or Wakaliwood that's number one. They both begin with W, just realised that's weird. But yeah, one of those has got to be number one, and I think it's got to go to Wakaliwood for me. Of course, She-Freak was down at the bottom. That film was painfully dull. I watched that at a movie night before I did the review for it as well. I think there's the audio of me, Martin and Carl talking about it. Before I'd done the review, I watched She-Freak and we hated it. We hated it so much. And then it came down to doing the review months later. I had to rewatch it. And watching that thing twice is agony. It's such a boring film. Nothing happens in it. It's awful. If you're going to avoid any of these, avoid She-Freak. Also, yeah, I mean, Lady Street Fighter and Jungle Trap were always going to be low down on the list as well, weren't they? Not very good at all. The series, the collection definitely got better as it went along. That first half was pretty rocky, and I think that might as well be why I was a little slower at doing them when I was starting out with them. But it really picked up in that last half, and a lot of the best ones were in the last half of the collection. The packaging has been immaculate on pretty much all of these. And honestly, it is a shame that they're not doing more, because especially after watching the trailer show and seeing all the films that they potentially have access to, there's a bunch there that I was really wanting to see released. Specifically Things, because we don't really have a release in the UK of Things. There's an American DVD that's usually reasonably priced, but it'd be nice to have a Blu Ray of it. and maybe like, is it Evil? I forgot what the name of that one is. Evil Island with Barry Gillis. You could have a Barry Gillis double bill. You could have things in Evil Island. That'd have been great. Final Flesh as well. I want to mention this briefly. I know that Final Flesh got a release in the US from the AGFA label. I didn't know it was an AGFA film, but I found it after like scrolling through Letterboxd for a while one night, like last year, and I sat and watched it, and I couldn't believe what I was watching, and that's become a staple amongst friends. I've shown a lot of people Final Flesh, and we've all had a good laugh at that one. And I didn't realise that AGFA had that, and yeah, there's a Blu Ray of it in America. It's a shame we never got that over here, because it's fantastic. I don't know how I'd have spoke about it on this channel, because it's mostly porn, but it's a hilarious film. So yeah, let's sum this up, I think, shall we? Let's wrap this all up. It's been a good collection. I've thoroughly enjoyed doing it. The good and the bad I've really enjoyed. There's been more in here that I would recommend than that I wouldn't. As a collection, I don't think it's one that's worth getting all of them for. I think you can pick and choose with these ones, honestly. I think that's fine with it. There's some really good ones there. Some really good ones in here. I'm glad I did it as well. I'm glad I worked through them all, to be honest. Yeah, it's been really fun. It's been really fun. So, moving forward, there will be an update video released soon. Or it might have already been released. I don't know when this video is going out. It's either going to be released or it has been released. And that's just going to go into a bit more detail about what's coming. There's going to be some changes to the channel. I'm still going to be covering the sorts of things that I've always covered. There's going to be more horror though. I'm going to be focusing more in on the horror films, because I know that people have been asking for those. Any suggestions, let me know. Any thoughts on the AGFA collection, let me know in the comments and such. It's always good to hear your guys' opinions. If you've watched the entire series, thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot. If you're just tuning in now, you've missed the whole series, but don't worry, it's all on my channel. If you want to check it out, there's plenty of videos there to sink your teeth into. If you like what I make and you've been watching what I make and you're like, this guy seems up my street, maybe consider supporting me on Patreon or becoming a member on YouTube. Any little bit helps massively with the channel and the creation of these videos. So once again, thank you so much for watching this series. Thank you so much for watching to this part in the video, and I will catch you in the next project.